Welcome to the March edition of North St. Paul Notes. I'm your host, Paul Anderson. This month we're broadcasting from the North St. Paul area food shelf. North St. Paul Notes is straight ahead. Hello, welcome to the March edition of North St. Paul Notes. We hope this show will keep you up to date on the news and events that are of interest to the residents of North St. Paul. We're bringing you this month's show from the North St. Paul area food shelf on Sepulveda Boulevard, behind the main street in North St. Paul. I'm joined now by Dave and Linda Zick. They are the managers. I'm going to find out more about their titles later on, but they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're the managers and operators of the North St. Paul area food shelf. Welcome to both you and Dave, Linda, and
thank you.
I shouldn't say welcome because we're in your place, so
you are welcome.
You can welcome us.
You are very welcome.
And we are in tight quarters. I always remember this location because years ago, Sepulveda Boulevard was known mainly because it was the streetcar route for downtown North St. Paul. The streetcars used to run right behind or up what was not called Sepulveda Boulevard in those days, but it was actually the original name for it was Lane Avenue. You probably didn't know that, but that was, the early newspapers referred to this as Lane Avenue. But it was also the area right behind the main street, on the north side of the main street. All of the businesses along the main street were on Sepulveda Boulevard. So that's a little bit of history that I like to try and bring in.
Well, they even had horseshoe pits.
There were horseshoe pits
behind Newman's.
Right, that's right, behind Newman's, behind Newman's Bar. This location was actually the location that was the business of Bill Peralt's confectionery. Right. And I always remember that Bill Peralt and his wife lived right behind the store. So this was the quarters of the Peralt family for most of the years they were in business here, I think. And I think Dave remembers being in Peralt's.
Oh, yes.
They had good ice cream, I know that.
Yes, they did, and other things.
And all kinds of little things that you could buy if you went to the movie theater across the street at the Rialto. Then you came over here and spent the penny change that you got. And Bill Peralt always had something new each month.
His penny candy counter.
That's right, yeah. So that's kind of fun to remember. We last met in January of 2012. Maybe you don't remember that far back, but I think Linda was the only one on the show at the time. And she gave us a lot of information about the food shelf. Have there been many changes since those days? Or?
I think that was about the time that we were changing and dropping Maplewood. There have been 2 food shelves now open in Maplewood to service those residents. We just service North St. Paul and Oakdale at the present time, but our numbers are still climbing up there. That we're not too far off of what we used to do with 3 cities.
That's right.
But now we don't have to be open every Tuesday night that we were climbing up to before. Yeah.
That took some of the pressure off. But
it did, yes.
And then the other program that you used to run in the evening was, what was that called
Fare
again?
for All Express.
Fare for All,
we
right.
were on the waiting list to get it. We had that at the community center, and then when the community center changed hands there, or leased out, they went to Redeeming Love Church. But most of our volunteers are still going over there.
They still are? Okay.
Yeah, our volunteer coordinator is still arranging for the volunteers over there.
So
that's once a month.
Okay, I remember that you were looking forward to not having to have serving Maplewood, but actually it seems that it's the pressure is increasing again.
It is. February is our slower month, so it's a little bit less pressure this month.
Sure. Okay.
Because we service 14 a day, and our average is about 250. It's been up as high as 290 a month.
Okay.
So we service just 14 a day. That's
Okay.
all the carts that we have, all the room that we have in the back room to
Yeah,
switch them
well,
around.
No,
And-
that's families, not
That's
not
fam-
individuals. That's families.
Families,
Right.
yeah.
And I know that I mentioned earlier that I was going to ask you about your title. What do you have a title?
I'm the director, and he's the president of the board.
And he's also known as the grunt.
The grunt.
The
He-
grunt.
He does the heavy lifting,
Yes.
or did.
He does what I tell him to do. No.
But as we came into the food shelf, I saw Linda doing a lot of heavy lifting too. So
I do a
she
lot
doesn't
of
get
heavy
away
lifting.
from.
Yes.
I thought that you were just
Boss.
the manager and didn't have to
I
do anything.
don't just delegate.
Oh.
No.
Well, then you have to figure out something different, I guess.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of
I also do the book work and,
Oh.
and all that too. So.
Okay, well that's another job in addition. So do you ever figure out how many hours you get in a week?
It's more than a full-time job.
It
And
is.
for being retired, yes, it's
Yes.
more than a full-time.
Between 40 and 70 is what she does.
Right.
Because
So
I
it-
lived through every one of them.
Okay, so well, it's a volunteer job. I think we should stress that.
Ours is our food shelf is one of the only all volunteer. Around here, around the Twin Cities, there's always paid people at all the food shelves.
Oh,
but
there
ours
is.
is all volunteer, and it's almost all seniors.
Okay.
So as people retire, we grab them up
Right.
to work
And
here.
you do use the churches to do your recruiting? Is that
Not necessarily recruiting. We have the churches on a rotation basis where they come in every 8 weeks or so and pack either 2 days or the 5-day rotation.
Okay.
But they don't wait on the clients or anything like that. We have our regular daily volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone that answers the phone and one gal to do the door. We have about a dozen people here that are regulars each day,
okay?
because we have the people upstairs and the people in the garage.
Right.
So it's a
So-
lot of volunteers that we need to run this place.
Okay. So there is an upstairs where you store a lot of.
That's where we store
items?
everything. We stock every day for the 14 families, and then after everything is packed, these shelves should almost be empty. We've already started, some have already started packing. That's why there's some off the shelves already. Then we have them sent down again for the next day, for the next 14 families.
Okay. And this is a pretty wild place. As we came in, we could tell right away that your space is very limited.
Well, on Thursday we get a delivery from Second Harvest. We buy a lot of food from them,
Okay.
and they also charge us for delivery too, so it isn't a matter of being free. But we got over 3,000 pounds this morning, which includes a lot of boxes of meat, and we got pizzas today and all the stuff, and there was a ton of stuff that got delivered upstairs. They
Okay.
used to carry all the stuff upstairs. We have very steep steps, and the seniors used to always carry them up, so they did get this one elevator, so that does make our job a lot easier, sending things up and sending things down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard to expect people to carry all of that, but you did originally.
That's what they did before, and they
Yeah.
used to just maybe have 2 or 4 families when they originally started, but then it has been growing and growing and growing.
Sure. How does this space work for you? I just.
It works nice because we keep the fellows upstairs and in the garage, and we
Okay.
gals are out front here. That's why it works very good.
I was surprised that they didn't keep
You
Dave
have to.
upstairs.
It is a lot of
I stay in the
space
garage.
management. There
Oh,
is
for sure.
space management. When
Yeah.
people don't bend to pack, we use the bottom shelves for our storage.
Okay.
And we have storage all over it. But we
Do
get
you-
inspected by all different places, so we always have to make sure it meets codes.
So you are inspected by health department too?
No, by North St. Paul, by Second Harvest, by we also have had TFAB or USDA out here. We've also had EFN, who we also order food from. We have a delivery on Tuesday that we buy food from Emergency Food
Okay.
Shelf Network. They're the same
Yeah.
ones that deliver to Fare for All Express.
Okay.
Yeah, we order a lot of produce from them. During the summer, we get a lot of produce from churches
Yeah.
and different gardeners. So we give a lot more produce during the summer and try to. We have a gal that's a master gardener, so she can explain what to do with a lot of the stuff that I don't recognize, and she does.
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So she tells people how to prepare it.
I see. Okay. Well, is there any consideration for changing locations, or is this what place?
We've looked into it, but when we measured how much room we have here, it is quite a lot, and it's only about 3 times a year that we're really packed. When they have the holiday drive through the city of North St. Paul, we get a lot of food in then, and people remember us then too.
Right.
And then there's the March drive, and then it gets crowded then. And then, but during the summer and some months, it's very sparse. If you go upstairs, you're going to find it looks like it's very crowded. But we have people sort the food. If it's over a year old, the boxes are all X'd. If it's over, we used to throw away stuff that was older than that. Now we find if we double X them, then people will still have. As people come in, they're able to take the bread that we get from Cub. They're able to take all this X item or miscellaneous items. So we have a lot of stuff upstairs that is going to go on that shopping shelf that people can just take as they come in.
Okay.
So there is a lot of the food shelves walk around with the people. We don't have the room, we don't have the time.
Sure.
But they do have some selection out there.
Okay. So the fact that something has expired by date doesn't necessarily mean
No, and
it's-
they're coming out with more and more articles about how we're throwing too much stuff away.
Yeah.
And there's some flavor problems. And even what we order from Second Harvest today, some is old already when we've gotten it. So we just automatically exit, and we'll be putting it out on the shelf too. But we get the bakery we get from Cub. We get Cub is 4 days a week. We pick up stuff. He picks up from Costco and from Leanne Chin's. We also pick up from Olive Garden, and he picked up from Target today too. I get a lot of super stuff from them.
So
he even got Mickey Mouses today.
Oh, really? Mickey Mouses? What?
Valentine's
Valentine
stuff.
candy.
Okay,
After holidays, we always get a lot of
Okay.
stuff.
The only food we do throw away on the date is baby food.
Baby food?
That's the only stuff we have to throw away.
Okay.
If it's at or beyond the expiration
Okay,
date.
because of the sensitivity.
No
of-
preservatives
Yeah.
in it,
Oh, sure.
right?
I see. That's right too.
We have the people in the garage that are repacking the vegetables for us, so we have those enough for each day, and they tear up a lot of cardboard
Oh, I noticed
and
that.
help us stock.
Heavy
and
into
help us stock.
recycling, believe
Yeah.
me.
Sure. So does that go to the city then?
Right, yeah, it's
recycling?
under contract, yeah.
Oh, okay.
For their Allied Waste, I believe, has got the
Yeah.
contract,
Okay,
so.
sure.
We consolidated 7 places into this one building out here, so everybody didn't have to have a dumpster outside.
That's right, I
It's
remember
all
that.
up in there,
Yeah.
and it works great if we could get a few people to clean it up once.
Yeah, I imagine so. Everybody's willing to use it, but nobody
Yeah.
wants to
The food shelf
maintain
people
it.
clean it up.
They-
And
okay.
That Don
There's
from
one
the sign
other-
shop,
there's a couple other
he
people.
Oh, sure.
cleans it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of our boxes wind up going to Tracy Luther.
Oh,
He uses them in his auction, so
I see.
we reuse or recycle.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, I noticed you have a lot of volunteers. Everyone's volunteering. And
We have well over 100 volunteers.
100
Yeah.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay. On any one day, how many would you
On
have?
each day, we probably have about 12. Here.
12 each
Yeah.
day. Okay. So when you get a location that's this tight, it gets people start stepping on each other. I guess and you couldn't have any more probably.
Yes, it gets very close.
It
Yeah.
works pretty well.
does.
It's a
It
good
does.
bunch of people. It really is. They're great.
And you don't have any problem recruiting? Or,
In the winter, we do.
oh,
Because people go down south.
that's true. Sure.
Yeah, that's what we're today. We usually have 3 people out in the garage, and right now 3 or 4, and now we only have 1 today. But someone came from downstairs, from upstairs to help him send everything upstairs.
Okay.
Because half of what came went upstairs today.
I see. I can see why coming into the building, I stood out in the garage for a little while, so I can see why that might not be as nice a location to work.
Oh.
It might be harder to get volunteers out there.
No, it's not bad, really.
And our son made it so it's a refrigerated area too. So
Oh,
in
sure.
the summer we can keep the apples and oranges longer, but not if they don't fit in the refrigerator.
Okay.
And the potatoes, they last longer because of being refrigerated. So they're always working in a cold area, whether it's summer or winter.
Yeah, I suppose. So do the volunteers always do the same jobs each week?
Pretty much.
Pretty
It
close,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
I suppose that's more efficient that way than trying to
For training,
Everybody
yeah.
knows what they're,
Other
you know, what
areas.
to do, and it works really well. They're good at it.
People have their preferences because, like, the phone job is not the most fun job, but we have enough people now volunteer for that. It's getting harder and harder because our families are getting harder and harder to, you know, they're multi-families or people moving back together, and it gets a little harder to document.
Yeah, yeah. You say the phone job. How do you use the phone?
They have to call one day for an appointment the next day.
Oh, I see.
And the gal will take that information down, and she will make up a packing slip kind of thing that these people will pack by to know how many are in the family and the ages. Sometimes it's different for the children and that too. We also, because we don't have the room to handle milk, we buy a Cub card, a $5 Cub card, and give everybody a Cub card. And that too. We are able to handle eggs, but not the milk. The milk is kind of messy anyway.
Sure.
So, but she prepares that paperwork so it's all ready for the next day for when these people come in.
Right.
Because they do have to sign different forms too. It's fun.
So it's like making an appointment.
It's making an appointment. We ask very little information compared to some because we don't handle. Some food shelves handle like signing up for SNAP and other programs and that too. We refer a lot of people over to St. Andrews and Matamita because they have a resource center that can work with people.
I see.
So that really helps us out.
Sure. Okay. Well, you had mentioned some of the businesses that donate to the food shelf, donate food, like Cub and Leanne Shin and Costco
Target
and many others, I guess. I suppose it's in their best interest to donate because
then it's not thrown away, and then they can put it down for their taxes. We encourage a lot of money donations during the drives because we can buy, like as you saw, all the stuff that we brought in today. That's about for each dollar spent, we get $9 or $10 worth of food is what they figure.
For each dollar.
For each dollar.
$10 at retail. I mean, you'd pay that in the store. We get it for about $1.
Okay.
The USDA there's usually minimal cost. It used to be zero. Sometimes I think they're talking about some price to that, but it costs to have it delivered. And that too from Second Harvest. It goes through them. Yeah. But then people have to sign a form saying they've gotten the USDA and that they meet the requirements money-wise or are under some services, some getting SNAP or Social Security or something like that. So we don't ask that as much information as most food shelves.
I see. Okay. Do you get a lot of other donations from other businesses around North St. Paul and Oakdale? And
we just got an interesting one now that Guardian Angel has had a toilet paper drive for us. Because we were spending a lot on toilet paper every week and that too. So they had a drive just this month, and they put it all in the priest's office. And what they write down for the newsletter?
In their newsletter, it says priest's office is TP'd, and it was just packed full of toilet. They had a picture of it in their monthly bulletin.
And you'll see some of it when you go upstairs because they brought in 2 pickup loads full of it. So but they're going to have another drive in next year. They also are going to do it for another food shelf too, besides us and that too. But that's so we can keep our toilet paper well stocked.
I see. Well, it doesn't expire.
No, it doesn't.
So
no use by date.
No.
Right.
No, we run into that too much.
Yeah, I imagine so. A recent promotion by the city of North St. Paul employees was very successful, I understand.
Mary Mills for North St. Paul has been running the holiday drive. How many years? I can't even think of.
About
now,
6.
But
at least 6.
We get just as much in during that time. She starts first with a letter to the merchants, and then she puts it in the city newsletter, and we come out very good. Yeah. Well, and she puts it down too by pounds. When she takes the dollar, she multiplies it times 10 too. Okay. So one time it sounded like we got how many? Thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, but it included 10 times each dollar. Okay. So because some newspaper called us one time, and then when they realized it was so many dollars plus they had our food.
Yeah. Well,
generous community, very generous.
We have been supported super by North St. Paul, and Oakdale is stepping up too, and they're really good.
That's great. Yeah. The figure I saw was in the latest newsletter the utility newsletter, and I think it was 29,282.
Something like that, yeah.
And then there was 15,000, over 15,000 pounds.
15,000 pounds. We give out over 26,000 pounds a month.
26?
Over. We used to be over 30, but it's 26,000 now that we do the 2 cities and that. And sometimes it's reached up higher, you know, closer to 30. So it looks like a lot when people are bringing food in, but in a little, it will look like a lot if you fellows go upstairs, but if I didn't order every week, we would be out of it, you know, by the end of the month or something with a lot of those items.
I know another organization that has given you support is the Woodbury Choir and Orchestra.
They're putting another concert on for us, yes. Okay. So this will be about the 13th concert or something.
So their proceeds go to the food shelf.
Yeah.
The offerings they take in at the concert.
Okay.
It'll be March 30th at St. Mark's, and
March 30th.
The director, the music director, is one of the directors there.
Yeah, Bob Murphy, I know, has been involved with it.
Yeah.
Great music.
Yeah.
It is. They're good.
On Eagle's Wings or something like that this time.
Right.
Sometimes they've done Christmas concerts, sometimes they've done spring concerts for us.
I've been to some of those concerts. Yeah, they do a nice job. Do you ever get, in your situation, do you ever get any kind of criticism, or you hear anything, or?
Once in a while. I mean, it's that way with anything, but the vast majority, very thankful, very happy.
Yeah.
It is.
I would think so.
We give a lot out at this food shelf. We give more out than a lot of food shelves. Like our freezer, we probably have about 7 items in there that we're giving out, and then we give stuff out of the refrigerator. And so it isn't just the stuff on the shelf they're getting. They're getting other items. We have more and more seniors that are coming now than ever before. And they've gotten past the point, you know, where the pride maybe kept them from coming. But now, you know, they like to come and get a steak.
Yeah, I'm sure.
or the bakery, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw some of the produce or some of the meats that you were packing in the freezer when we came in, and that was impressive because there's a lot of.
It's called rescue meat. It's from Cub and other stores that bring it to Second Harvest, and we pay $6 for a banana box full.
Oh, $6.
$6. We can buy 5 of each thing: 5 beef, 5 pork, 5 chicken. Depends on our freezer space. Right now we have 1 freezer filled with hams and turkeys that we're saving for Easter. It's just hard that Easter is so late this year.
Yeah. Well, when you were packing it in there, I could see that it's hard to find the right way to store it sometimes.
I try to sort it at the same time.
Some of those rolls of ground beef tend to roll out.
The weapons.
The weapons, they would really be a weapon for sure. Those are how many pounds?
10. 10 pound shelves.
10 pounds, okay. Well,
and they're heavier when they're frozen.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time, but I guess it's a unique experience to come in here and record what happens, because and they'll be doing some other taping to show other areas of the building and other storage areas, and maybe the pressure will increase as the day goes on, I guess. You're going to have clients coming in at what time?
No.
They start at 10:30, the first appointment, yes. Okay. We do 2 every 15 minutes.
But as long as you are limiting and reserving the time for people, I imagine that keeps it much better organized.
Follows pretty close, but you always have to be able to bend and flex.
Oh, I'm sure. It would be difficult if you didn't have that.
A lot of your food shelves are walking around with people. We don't have the space for that or the time, and or me the patience probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's a lot harder to do that. And White Bear does it, and some of your, I think Stillwater does it. But they have a bigger area than we have. We do what works for us. What we found during the years works for us and for our clients.
Sure. Okay. Well, Linda and Dave Zick, we appreciate your letting us come in and invade your territory on one of the busier days. We're going to be getting out of here pretty quick, so
don't rush.
You won't have us under your feet, at least. We're out of time on this month's show. Join us again next month when we'll bring you more news about North St. Paul. I'm Paul Anderson, speaking for everyone at the City of North St. Paul. Thank you for watching.